How to build a $1 million plus wholesaling real estate business. Guys, it's Rick Ginn here, and today we're going to talk about getting your wholesaling up to $1 million. I know a lot of you are saying, well, that sounds crazy. I'm here to tell you, it's doable in as little as 1 year. I did it myself, and I've done it every year since then. But before I get into it, do me a favor, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button to continue to receive the best information on wholesaling today. So, how do we get your wholesaling business up to $1 million per year? And guys, after you get started and you get successful in wholesaling, this should be your first target to take down. Once you pass that 100 grand, all you have to take that $100,000 and multiply it by 10. But I'm here to tell you, it's actually easier than you think. It just requires a set plan. So let's get into it. So the first way to do it is make sure you start out wholesaling real estate. Why? Because it's going to have the lowest barrier to entry, the lowest risk. It's, in my opinion, one of the most scalable ways to create a lot of income in a short amount of period of time. And number three, it's not hard and it's not complicated. It keeps you out of the minutia of real estate, meaning wholesaling is the art of just finding really good deals. So if you become really good at wholesaling and finding good deals, it's going to set a foundation for you that will catapult you into new heights as you learn and grow in this business. And the sexiest thing about wholesaling is you don't have to have a ton of training to figure out how to do it. And as little as 30 days, you can find a property, put it on a contract, and pocket $20,000 to $30,000. If you can repeat that over and over, it's actually a very clear path to get to $1 million. Now, I'm here to tell you, it's not going to be the easiest journey of your life. And the journey is what is going to make the man or the woman the most successful at wholesaling real estate. And once you hit that $1 million, you're going to go, okay, how do I turn that million into 5 million, into 10 million? Remember what your goal is, why you got into wholesaling real estate. I got into it so I could free my time and be financially free. And honestly, I very quickly accomplished that. And I find myself, okay, well, what's the next challenge? So then I targeted after that first year, I want to make $1 million. And remember, there's a huge difference between generating $1 million and netting $1 million. So if you want to pocket $1 million, a lot of times you're going to have to target like 1.25 to 1.3 million to cover your cost, like marketing, any type of employees you have, any type of overhead you have. Remember, no offices. We don't do that. So that's my first little tip is do not get an office. It is your biggest path to make you stuck in an office. And I don't know about you. I didn't get into wholesaling so I could report to an office every day. Wholesaling is you're always going to your customers. They're rarely ever coming to you. And your employees should be out in the field scouring and finding motivated sellers. If they sit in an office, you lose, okay? Most of the time, offices are going to be for receptionists, underwriters, transaction coordinators, and stuff like that. In my opinion, it all can be done virtually, but if you like to spend money on overhead and you want to do that, then knock yourself out. But I'm telling you, is the fastest way to make sure you don't make $1 million plus. Most people starting out in wholesaling do not need an office. 5 years down the road, if you want to grow one of those huge, huge operations, but keep in mind, you're typically going to give up a ton of your time. If you got into wholesaling to have as much free time as you want, getting an office is a clear path against that. That's just my opinion. So the next rule is the 20% rule. I'm sure you guys have heard this before. Yes, 20% rule will get you, well, Rick, how's 20% rule going to get me $1 million plus? 20% rule just says whatever you make, you live off 20% of it. Okay, well, Rick, if I only make $50,000, that means I'm going to live on 10 grand. You're right. It's going to be a crunch to live on 10 grand. So you know how you fix that? Go make 500 grand. 500 grand times 20 is $100,000. So the whole target of the 20% is make you look at your cost structure. And where most people in the business world teach you how to just cut costs, you should do the opposite. You should find a way to blow up your revenue. And listen, if you make $500,000 or $1 million a year, you can easily live off $100,000, $200,000. I do it all the time, guys. The sooner you figure out this rule, the better you'll do. Because If you make 100,000, you spend 90% of it, you're broke. Okay. If you make $10 million and you spend 95% of it, you're broke. Wealth is created by the disparity in what your costs are to what you make. Okay. There's a reason why some UPS drivers, when they retire, they're worth millions of dollars because they lived on that 20% rule. It's not easy, especially in the beginning, but if you can adhere to the 20% rule, if you set that discipline in now, when you make $1 million, you can live off $200,000, and that's what you work up to, and the rest of the money you're going to invest. So 20% rule, it's key. Everybody says, well, I'll do it once I make $1 million. No, you won't. I promise you won't do it. I didn't even follow this rule in the beginning. Start now. It's a habit. And once you create that discipline, remember, it will help you become wealthy. How do you become wealthy? A huge disparity in income versus your expenses. The wider the gap, the wealthier you are, the more options you have in life. The next one is being a single operator to get to that first $1 million. Embrace it. Guys, I did it for multiple years, actually 5 years in a row. I just didn't figure out how to get out of it. But so many people in the first few months are trying to get out of that single operator role. And I'm telling you, you need to embrace it. Okay. You need to dive in and do every job in your business to fully appreciate it. So when you do hire people, you know how to manage them. You know how to look at their KPIs, their key performance indicators, and it's much easier. Have you ever tried to manage someone for a position you've never done, you have no experience in, and you don't know how to manage the KPIs? That's in effect what you're doing when you hire people for a job you've never done. If you hire someone for cold calling and you have zero experience cold calling, you've never run a cold calling operation, you are going to get killed. So what I'm telling you is brace the single operator. It works. It's not forever, but a lot of times year 1 through 2 winds up in that single operator role, and you slowly transition out of it. It is not an overnight fix. So that leads us to the next thing. Go, Rick, how do I scale to $1 million operation? I'm here to tell you the $1 million operation is easily done under a single operator. Is it stressful? Yes. But remember, we're trying to get ahead in life. Okay, you can't outsource everything. Welcome to the job of being an entrepreneur. It's an easy path to get to $1 million as a solo operator. I've done it. To be honest with you, my first 7 years, this is basically how I operated. My first 3 years, I did it all on my own, and then I started adding people on. I waited too late. Now, there's a caveat to this. You don't want to get stuck in the, so many people out there saying you can scale your business and you can generate millions every month. I'm here to tell you that is a long, tenuous road, and it is exhausting. And keep in mind, if multi-billion-dollar companies don't come in and take over wholesaling, you should take note. The reality is it's a very localized market. And the only way you can scale is take on multiple markets, and it becomes challenging. And for that reason, you see companies like Open Door and Zillow, they do these little blasts where they buy everything and they stop. You know why? Because they can't make it work. So take note to it. So when you scale, you want to scale very slowly. It takes time. Okay. The only type of scaling you do in that first $1 million is people that help you out with marketing activities. These are activities that will lead to income producing activities for you. So you hire a VA to scrape data for you so you can find more motivated sellers. Maybe they scrape the online ads. Anything you can do. Your job is to market like crazy and meet with as many sellers as you can in person to maximize your profit deal. Remember, you are on a journey. This isn't going to be easy, but I'm telling you the reward is phenomenal, because once you get to that $1 million, then you can shoot for the stratosphere and get a lot of help doing it. So it's the only type of scaling you do in that first $1 million are VAs that help you with marketing activities. If you think about hiring an acquisitions manager, unless it's a family member or a personal business partner that you really trust and you vetted well, do not do it. Acquisitions, if you give that up, that is the single most crucial skill in your wholesaling business. And if you outsource it, you're going to pay the price in the beginning. You are your best salesperson, salesman, saleswoman. Use it. Okay. And then you can delegate and use other people, but you want to be closing as many people as possible because you have the most experience. And guess what? You have the most buy-in to do it. So it's so important that it's you and you only, that you're going out and doing the acquisitions. Once you get past $1 million, then you can bring in, and hopefully you can find somebody within your sphere of influence that would be a great addition to help you out with acquisitions. But so many people make the mistake. Remember, if you bring in an acquisitions person, you got to train them, you got to spend all this time. You don't have it because you're trying to get to that $1 million. So it will come in time, and that all that time you spent running your $1 million operation, you are going to learn so much about every aspect of your business. The payoff down the road is going to be 10x. I promise you. So understanding when you make that $1 million, okay, the key is that you've earned that money. You've busted your butt for it. Now, once you've earned that $1 million, you've done it consistently, then you're going to set a goal higher than that, okay? And what you truly need to do is, you've already committed to the 20% rule. You got to take that earned income, and you have to take as much as you can and turn it into passive income, okay? So many of us people in the world most people just take their earned income and they spend it recklessly. Shoot, I've done it. You've probably done it. So now that you've busted your butt to make this $1 million and you gave it everything you have, and you're going to continue to do it and grow it, take that money you've earned and convert it. What do you convert it into? Passive income. Rick, how do I make passive income? That's a whole nother video. But basically, you're going to buy income producing assets. You can buy rental properties. You can buy stocks and stuff like that. I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money, but buy stuff that's going to pay you down the road and grow. Stop buying stuff that the day you buy it, the value goes to nothing, okay? Listen, I love boats, I love cars, I love all this stuff. This stuff will not pay you, and if you're buying that stuff in the beginning, you're making a major, major mistake. Buy things that will grow, and in 5 to 10 years later, let that passive income buy the things that you really want. Because if you're making solid passive income, $10,000 to $50,000 a month, let that pay for the things that you can enjoy in life. You should never take your earned income and buy that stuff, because you will never get ahead by doing that. So let's take an example. Well, Rick, how can I do it? Well, talk about a piece of real estate. Maybe looking at a commercial built, a small commercial property, maybe like $1 million, maybe a small strip mall or something. It's got solid tenants. You know the area, you know the values, and it's on the market for $1 million. Now, these types of properties don't be able to beat up the price much unless there's maintenance needs to be done. But say the property cost you $1 million. Just say you made your first $1 million. I'm not telling you to go out and spend your entire $1 million on it, but most commercial loans on a piece of real estate on an established tenant, they'll give you 20 to 25%, maybe as high as 30, but I've got them at 20%. You can take 20%. So on that $1 million property, you put down $200,000. Remember, you earned $200,000. You're going to make an investment, and then you get a loan for the other $800,000. Then you have to calculate your ROI, your return on investment, which is simply by taking the net of what the properties can produce, and you can divide it by the price. Or what I like to do is take my $200,000 and see what that's going to earn after I pay on the mortgage, the tax, the interest, and all that fun stuff. And then I get a return, and you find that $200,000, a lot of times you can get a 40 to 50% return. It's what we call the cash on cash return. Guys, here's the really cool part is you can do this over and over again. So every year, say now you made 1.5 million the next year. Now you go out and buy a $2 million building. Yes, you're going to have to put down $400,000, but then the idea is to take that $400,000 and get back a 40 or 50% return. Yes, you look at these deals just like you do your regular wholesaling single family houses. And after time, these things grow. And what do? They appreciate. They appreciate. So not only do you get your original money back, you get paid every month, and it pays you regardless every month if you're working or not. And that's how you slowly convert on always growing your wholesaling business. You start at $1 million and you grow it, and then you take that earned income, you convert it, and you can see in 5 to 10 years, this snowballs into a monster. And last but not least, when you earn that money, it's so important you sit down with a CPA, an accountant, to find the strategy so you can save the money. So often you hear people like, well, so-and-so didn't pay their taxes. No. They just understand how the United States tax structure works. So if you buy real estate, you're allowed to offset it with depreciation. And basically, the United States government rewards you for buying properties because it pays into the property tax base. It provides jobs to everybody in the community. So you are rewarded to reinvest in your community. So you can do the depreciation, you can do 1031 exchanges. So when you get bored with the property, makes a ton of money, you can take your profit level and roll it into another property with no tax penalty. Guys, this is how the truly wealthy do it. I'm telling you, a race to get $1 million in wholesaling, you can easily do it in 1 year. You've got to follow these rules. Now, a lot of these rules I skipped. That's why I didn't do it in a year or two. It took me a lot more time, but I'm here to tell you my 20 years experience. If you will follow these rules and you will put in the effort and the work, I can pretty much guarantee you will easily earn $1 million in wholesaling real estate. Guys, I've been doing it 20 years. I've never looked back. You let me know in the comments which of these rules that you think apply to you, which ones you would add, and I would love to hear from you guys. And as usual, do me a favor, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button to continue to receive the best information on wholesaling. This is Ginn, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.